Hey guys, what's up? It's Molly here. I just want to talk about breakfast today. So there are a lot of misconceptions at the moment going on about how breakfast, is it irrelevant or is it irrelevant? And number one, athletes in general population are going to differ quite a lot. So there's been recent things saying that breakfast really for weight loss, fat loss, it's not essential. And it's probably right, because ultimately if you're not eating when you first wake up, you may be consuming less calories throughout the day. Whereas if you're an athlete, this is something that weight loss, fat loss, is not ultimately your goal. Well, maybe in off seasons for some people, yes, but ultimately performance is your goal. So for a weight loss, fat loss client, they may go until lunchtime without consuming any calories, and they will maintain what they ate throughout the day. Or for some, it could lead to overconsumption, so they're ultimately having more than they would if they actually had breakfast, because they may tend to binge or overcompensate, but that completely depends on the individual. Whereas an athlete, should they have breakfast? Well, yes, most of the time, yes, because ultimately to perform, you need calories in your body. You need glucose, which converts into glycogen in the muscle and the liver, and for performance, that's the main fuel source. Yeah, proteins and fats contain energy, but that is only when carbohydrates of ultimately the fuels run out. So you want to make sure you're getting enough fuel. So the day before, that's going to be important, not just breakfast, because say you've got a match midday, breakfast, that's not going to provide you with the calories you want for that game. Whereas the day before, that's when you need to really be on what you're eating. Because if you underfuel the day before, then you're going to be in trouble. Well, maybe. But what I'm saying is you can't rely just on the day and breakfast for performance. I mean, yes, I would definitely recommend it. It depends. There's different kind of ways of looking at it. If you have an early game, say midday, then I would look at waking an hour or two earlier than you would normally and having breakfast. It doesn't have to be big. I would recommend actually a smaller breakfast if you have a game at midday, because then you can have something before pre-game, so a light pre-game meal or maybe like some fruit or a shake or whatever your regime is. But I definitely recommend doing that. And not having something that is going to be really hard on the stomach. So having oats with fruit, that may be good, depends on the individual. So do you have gastric problems, some distress? That could be an issue with some people, so I would definitely recommend waking up an hour or two earlier and having something that you know is going to benefit you. And that wants to be primarily a carbohydrate source. You don't want to have proteins and fats before you perform that soon, because they're slower to digest, and I mean they're beneficial, but not for a short-term performance benefit. So yeah, maybe a little bit of fat and protein, but you ultimately want to be having about 60% at least of carbohydrates for your performance. And say your competition is later on in the day, breakfast is still important, but depending on what works best for you, you might want to just wake up, get plenty of rest, and have a bigger breakfast. So this may be, say, maybe a bagel with eggs and some fruit, or a larger breakfast. So ultimately the goal is that if you have a larger breakfast, it's going to take a while longer to digest in the body. So when it comes to throughout the day, you can have smaller meals. Whereas obviously if you have a game, which is in a few hours, you don't want to overload on food, because that's going to cause discomfort and you're not going to perform to the best of your ability. And yeah, hydration is important as well, because the day before, that's when you want to be hydrated, because if you're waking up on competition day dehydrated, it's going to be a lot harder to hydrate. I mean, yes, you can chug water, yes, it can go through your body, but ultimately it's going to be harder to get into the actual muscle cells. So I definitely recommend just maintaining hydration every day, and making sure that when you wake up, you know when you first go to the bathroom, you can tell if you're hydrated. Obviously if your urine's dark, then you're a lot likely dehydrated, so you don't want that. And I'd recommend before bed drinking a glass of water, and when you wake up drink a glass of water. And that should definitely help. But in terms of breakfast, like, the research is definitely mixed out there, and for fat loss clients it's different, and that's very individual. Whereas for performance athletes, I definitely recommend having breakfast. You don't really want to be missing meals. There's a time and a place if you're off season and you perhaps want some metabolic benefits in the body, so you want to train under low carbohydrates. That's for a different topic, but that might be beneficial. But in terms of if you're in season and you have a game, you want to be fueling on breakfast. One thing I definitely recommend not doing is trying something new on a game day, because that could, if you've never had a certain food before and you want to try something out on the day of competition, that could end badly, because you might not digest in the right way, and that's going to be decreased performance just waiting at you. So I definitely recommend doing it on maybe during a training week, and doing it on a day and experimenting then, so you can actually see before you play a competition. But yeah, like I said, with everything it is very individual with an athlete, but you just want to make sure that you don't eat too late before competition, because you want to let it digest pretty much fully before you play. So yeah, and then obviously quick sources before you play, so bananas, fruit, and them kind of fruits, energy bars. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend having like a protein bar before performance. That's not going to benefit you at all. So yeah, that's some of my tips here, and I hope you please like and subscribe. You can find me on social media at mcall__fitness, and I provide some nutrition and fitness content for both athletes and the general population, so please head over there and check me out. So yeah, thanks very much guys.